It was supposed to be harmless daytime sparkle. Jennifer Hudson set aglow with lights, laughter, and the promise of empowering conversations. But that morning's episode would rewrite the definition of empowerment. Yes, you clicked because Angela Bassett was kicked off Jennifer Hudson's show, and because what followed became the most talked about on-air reversal of 2025. Before we get into it, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. It feeds YouTube's algorithm, and it tells us how far the story of respect and redemption is traveling. Now, let's step into the studio where charm met thunder. The Jennifer Hudson show had been on a roll. Ratings were up, sponsors were glowing, and producers wanted a spicy, viral moment to cap the season. The guest list promised pure gold. Angela Bassett, Hollywood royalty, twice Oscar nominated. Every inch of her name synonymous with grace. Two younger actors from a streaming hit, and Jennifer herself, balancing host and performer, glowing with the confidence of a woman who'd won every major award on earth. The cameras rolled. The band played its jazzy theme, and the crowd cheered like it was church revival meets concert hall. Jennifer opened strong. Smooth smile, southern warmth, quick wit. But the chemistry changed the moment Angela Bassett entered. The audience rose for a standing ovation, a long, rolling wave of applause that made even the lighting director pause. Jennifer Hudson looked at her, half laughing, half teasing. Now, Miss Angela Bassett, you better not come out here looking all regal and steal my thunder on my show. Laughter. Harmless for now. Bassett smiled politely. Oh, Jennifer, I don't steal thunder, darling. I bring lightning. The crowd roared. A producer whispered through the comms. Careful. She's commanding the room. The topic turned to generational change in Hollywood. Young stars, social media fame, viral culture. Jennifer leaned forward with that trademark grin that could melt granite. Angela, you've been in this game a long time. Do you think the old guard sometimes needs to, let the new queen shine? Gasps. A few awkward laughs. Angela's brow arched. Slow and regal. Jennifer, are you calling me old guard, or just asking if experience intimidates new talent? Jennifer laughed nervously. Oh no, I just mean maybe Hollywood's changing and... Hollywood's always changing, Angela interrupted, her voice velvet soft but heavy as a gavel. That's why the foundation matters. If you build a house on trend, don't cry when the season changes. The audience erupted. Jennifer tried to laugh it off. Okay, Auntie Angela, now you're preaching. That single word, Auntie, shifted the air. Angela Bassett froze mid-smile. The room fell silent. Even the band's drummer stopped mid-snare. Jennifer, she said evenly, I know you mean that lovingly, but I'm not your Auntie. I'm your colleague. I've worked too long to have my name turned into a hashtag of endearment. Respect isn't about age. It's about acknowledgement. The audience gasped, torn between shock and admiration. Jennifer blinked, flustered. I didn't mean... Angela raised a hand gently. Intentions don't erase impact. Remember that. Camera 2 zoomed in. Her eyes were calm, her tone surgical. You could feel the internet forming clips already. During the commercial break, producers swarmed. We can edit that out, one said. Cut to the next segment. Keep it light. But Angela shook her head. No, leave it. Some lessons shouldn't be edited. When they came back live, Jennifer tried to regain footing. So, Angela Bassett teaching us a little etiquette today, huh? Angela smiled unbothered. Not etiquette, dear. Ethic. The one that separate applause from respect. The audience clapped. Not laughter this time, but agreement. Phones lit up across the studio as audience members began live tweeting. Angela Bassett just schooled Jennifer Hudson on live TV. This is the class we didn't know we needed. Jennifer Hudson, feeling the heat, pushed back, perhaps too hard. I think we can all agree it's okay to joke with people we love, right? Angela tilted her head. Love without listening isn't love, it's comfort. Jennifer smiled tightly. Well, I'm comfortable with you. Bassett replied, still gentle. Then maybe it's time to get uncomfortable. That's where growth starts. The crowd lost it. Standing ovation. Jennifer forced a laugh, but her eyes flickered. "Miss Angela, you gonna have this whole audience thinking I'm a villain." Angela's reply was a dagger wrapped in honey. "Villains are written. Character is chosen." The place exploded. By the time credits rolled, the moment was already online. Clips spread faster than the PR team could breathe. Twitter X trended. Hashtag Angela Bassett, hashtag respect class, hashtag Jennifer Hudson show. TikTok flooded with remixes of Bassett's calm one-liners. Intentions don't erase impact. Love without listening isn't love. CNN's Culture Desk posted a headline within the hour. Angela Bassett teaches America a live lesson on grace and power. Variety called it a confrontation for the ages. The View debated it for 20 minutes. Even fans of Jennifer admitted the optics were brutal. A younger host trying to relate to an elder icon and getting publicly humbled, not through anger but elegance. Producers scrambled. Network emails leaked. Damage control. Spin this as generational misunderstanding. But Bassett's team stayed silent. No posts, no statements. Silence itself became a statement. By nightfall, talk show analysts were calling it the Bassett Effect. One viral tweet summed it up. She didn't raise her voice once, but she raised the standard for everyone. PR experts estimated the clip generated over 30 million views in 24 hours across platforms. Yet, while the show's numbers skyrocketed, its reputation fractured. Half the audience sided with Jennifer, the relatable host who meant well. Half crowned Angela Bassett the queen of calm power. Network execs debated whether to invite her back for reconciliation or quietly move on. But Bassett's camp had already decided she'd return. Not to fight, to finish the lesson. And that decision would turn a viral clip into a cultural reset. When the Jennifer Hudson show aired the replay clip on social media that evening, no one expected what came next. The segment titled Annie Angela Moment Faced with Tears of Joy, was meant to be funny. But within minutes, the comments section turned into a battlefield. "Delete this. You disrespected a legend. She handled it with grace. You should be thanking her. Why is it always the icons who have to teach basic respect?" By midnight, the video had 12 million views, and a laughter emoji was replaced by fire emojis and angry faces. Jennifer's producers scrambled. The following morning, executives met at the network's glass wall conference room overlooking Hollywood Boulevard. Their verdict: Angela Bassett would be invited back for a clarification conversation. The phrasing was diplomatic. Everyone else called it damage control. 2 days later, the Crimson and Gold studio lights dimmed again. The same audience that once laughed nervously now buzzed with curiosity and unease. Jennifer walked onto the stage, her usual megawatt smile trembling ever so slightly. "America," she began, "a few days ago, something happened right here that got people talking. And when people talk, we listen. So please welcome back the incomparable Miss Angela Bassett." The applause was thunderous. Some fans in front row even held small cardboard signs reading, "Respect equals power." Angela Bassett walked in wearing a sleek ivory suit, grace personified, not defensive, not triumphant, just deliberate. She shook Jennifer's hand. "Thank you for having me again." Jennifer, trying to reclaim rhythm, replied, "You know, Miss Angela, the internet won't let us rest." Bassett smiled. "That's because lessons travel faster than gossip." The audience snapped like a poetry slam crowd. Jennifer blinked, then laughed, nodding. "All right then, let's have a conversation." Jennifer leaned forward. "People said I disrespected you. That wasn't my heart at all. How do we move past misunderstanding in front of millions of eyes?" Bassett paused, scanning the audience like a teacher, deciding whether class was ready. By remembering that microphones amplify not just voices, but values. When you sit in that chair, she gestured to the host seat, you're shaping how the world talks to itself. Gasps. Cameras zoomed in. You could almost see the moral weight fall over the room. "You call me Auntie." Sweet, familiar. But in that moment, it reduced years of labor, discipline, and leadership to something cozy. It's not about offense. It's about framing. We can't call women leaders, Annie, and call men legends. Words build hierarchies. The crowd erupted into applause. Jennifer swallowed hard but smiled. That's powerful. Angela turned slightly toward her. It's not power, dear. It's precision. Power without precision becomes arrogance. For 10 minutes, the two women talked. No commercials, no games, no music cuts. Jennifer Hudson listened, genuinely this time. Angela Bassett spoke not as a scold, but as a historian of dignity. I played queens, mothers, warriors. But the hardest role I ever had to learn was being heard in rooms that only wanted me visible. Fame is noise. Legacy is echo. Choose your microphone wisely. Respect isn't owed because of age. It's earned by endurance. Every sentence hit like a sermon. The live audience began chanting softly. Yen GLA, Yen GLA. Jennifer clasped her hands, eyes glassy. I'll be honest. I thought inviting you back would be scary, but it feels like church. Angela smiled gently. That's because truth always feels sacred when it finally shows up. Halfway through the conversation, Jennifer tried to lighten the tone. Miss Angela, you making me nervous with all this wisdom. Bassett chuckled. Jennifer, nerves of the body realizing the soul is paying attention. The audience gasped and stood. Full standing ovation, mid-segment. The control room director muttered, We're not cutting to break. Keep rolling. This is television history. On camera, Jennifer looked emotional. You're right. I was trying too hard to be funny when I should have been humble. Bassett touched her hand lightly. Humility is the most attractive accessory you can wear on television. Applause thundered. Hashtags exploded again. Hashtag Angela Bassett lesson. Hashtag humility is luxury. During the commercial break that finally came, producers gathered behind the glass booth. One whispered, This just turned from talk show to TED Talk. Another replied, No, this is redemption TV. When the cameras went live again, Jennifer said, I want to give you the floor, Miss Angela. Say whatever you want to people watching right now. Bassett nodded slowly. America, don't let familiarity make you forget reverence. You can love someone and still respect the weight of their journey. And to every young person chasing dreams, don't confuse access with achievement. The audience froze, absorbing each syllable. Jennifer's seat, this stage, this network, their blessings. But the greater blessing is using them to uplift, not upstage. Gasps. A camera panned to Jennifer, who was quietly tearing up. By the end of that broadcast, the internet melted down again, but this time in praise. Clips of Angela's quotes topped every trending chart. Humility is luxury. Power without precision becomes arrogance. Don't confuse access with achievement. CNN called it the most eloquent public correction in modern television. The New York Times headline read, Angela Bassett turns daytime drama into a national masterclass. Even Oprah Winfrey reposted a clip with a caption, This is what grace under pressure looks like. Talk show hosts from Colbert to Fallon referenced it that week, admitting they replayed the video as training. Jennifer's team expected backlash. Instead, polls showed viewers felt more respect for her because she listened instead of performing. She gained 400,000 new followers overnight. Sponsors doubled down. But privately, she confessed to her executive producer, I invited her for ratings. She gave me revelation. Universities began using the segment in communication classes. Harvard's Kennedy School titled its analysis Live Leadership, How Grace Beats Control. Essays appeared on Medium and Forbes. Respect as cultural currency. Fashion magazines printed her quote, Humility is the most attractive accessory. Next to runway spreads. A luxury brand offered her a campaign. She declined. You can't commodify the moral of a story, she told Variety. 2 weeks later, Jennifer Hudson's team proposed a joint empowerment special. Both women would host together, one representing strength, the other growth. Angela Bassett agreed on one condition. No scripts. Real healing isn't rehearsed. The special would later break viewership records, but that belongs to the next chapter, the second wave of public reaction, and the legacy it created. The announcement hit social media like a gospel trumpet. Angela Bassett and Jennifer Hudson, together again for a 1-hour prime-time special. The poster showed two women standing back-to-back, light radiating between them. The tagline, "From tension to transformation." Within an hour, hashtags trended worldwide. Hashtag Bassett and Hudson. Hashtag respect special. Hashtag power and grace. For once, the internet wasn't hungry for scandal. It wanted closure and maybe redemption. Producers titled it Women of Power. The conversation continues. No cue cards, no teleprompters, no PR rehearsals. Just two chairs, a circular stage, an audience of students, activists, and media figures. Jennifer Hudson walked out first, dressed in royal blue. Her smile was steady but modest. Angela Bassett followed in white, serene and composed, her presence pulling the air into stillness. The crowd's applause lasted nearly 2 minutes. When it quieted, Jennifer took a deep breath. Last time we sat together, the world heard a correction. Tonight, I hope they hear a connection. Angela smiled. Connection begins where pride ends. The audience erupted, snapping, clapping, leaning forward as if the studio had turned into a sanctuary. Jennifer began candidly. When I watched that clip back, I saw myself hiding behind humor. I realized I used laughter to dodge lessons. Angela nodded. That's what most people do. The giggle is a shield, but shields block growth. Silence, then applause. The first time I walked on your set, Angela continued, I saw potential, not rivalry. The media called it clash, but I call a mirror. You showed me how patience looks in another generation. I showed you how history sounds in mine. Jennifer's eyes glistened. You didn't destroy me. You delivered me. The audience gasped, then rose to its feet. Even Angela looked taken aback. She whispered, that's the real headline. Network simulcast the special across 5 time zones. Viewership peaked at 22 million live streams. YouTube uploads surpassed 50 million views within 24 hours. Clips went viral instantly. The giggle is a shield. Connection begins where pride ends. Respect isn't generational, it's universal. Teachers played segments in classrooms. CEOs quoted them in board meetings. Churches turned the dialogue into Sunday sermons. One Atlanta pastor declared, this wasn't entertainment. This was education wrapped in elegance. Within 48 hours, TikTok launched the hashtag Respect Challenge. Creators posted videos apologizing to mentors, parents, or teachers they had taken for granted. College students stitched Bassett's line. Humility is the luxury everyone can afford. Even politicians took notes. At a town hall forum in Chicago, a congresswoman cited Bassett's speech about micro-respect, the small daily gestures that sustain equality. You can legislate fairness, Bassett had said, but you can only live respect. Off camera, producers watched the transformation in awe. One whispered, this is what daytime TV was meant to be. Jennifer sat beside Angela between breaks, laughing easily this time, not defensively. She admitted, you turn a headline into healing. Angela chuckled. Headlines fade. Healing trends longer. A crew member who worked on talk shows for 15 years said later, I've seen celebrities cry, yell, storm off, but I've never seen anyone teach live like that. Near the end of the special, Jennifer asked a question every viewer wanted answered. Miss Angela, what's the one thing you want people to remember after all this? Bassett folded her hands. Her voice softened to that magnetic whisper that always precedes thunder. I want them to remember that respect is a renewable resource. You can spend it freely and never run out. But the moment you hoard it, you become poor in spirit. The audience went silent, goosebumps visible even through the bright studio lights. We live in a world obsessed with visibility. But what matters, she continued, is value. Don't chase applause, chase alignment. If you're aligned, applause finds you. Jennifer looked stunned. You talk like a prophet. Angela smiled. No, baby. I just talk like someone who's been ignored before. The crowd exploded. It was church, courtroom, and classroom in one. By morning, every major outlet carried the story. Time, Angela Bassett redefines influence. Variety, Jennifer Hudson turned accountability into art. The Washington Post. Two black queens show America how grace works in real time. Podcast dissected every sentence. Corporate diversity trainers licensed a segment. A Harvard Business Review article titled Bassett Economics. The ROI of respect went viral on LinkedIn. They even broke it down in financial terms. Increased brand trust index by 47%. 20% spike in daytime show ad rates. 150% growth in positive engagement metrics. Respect, it turned out, was profitable. Other shows followed suit. Talk show producers began hosting intergenerational episodes. Networks issued new internal memos about tone and mutual elevation. Even comedy writers took note. Roast less. Reflect more. Angela Bassett didn't tweet, didn't post, didn't gloat. Her silence became sacred. Jennifer Hudson, however, posted a black and white clip of their final embrace with the caption, "I came for conversation. I left with conviction." It reached 30 million likes in a week. Major studios called Angela's agent requesting her to keynote events. Netflix approached her for a documentary, Respect Rewired. She agreed on one condition, that Jennifer co-produce it. "She earned that seat beside me," Bassett told them. "No one graduates from grace. They just learn how to carry it." In New York, college girls printed Angela's quotes on T-shirts. In Detroit, barbers debated who won the exchange, and every answer ended with, "Doesn't matter. We all did." A grandmother in Alabama wrote on Facebook, "Angela Bassett just said what my mama used to tell me. Respect costs nothing but pays everything." Even kids began mimicking the tone. One viral video showed a 10-year-old girl scolding her brother for talking back. Respect is a renewable resource. Her parents laughed and cried. 2 weeks later, the United Nations Women's Division invited Angela Bassett and Jennifer Hudson to keynote an event titled Voices of Value. Standing before diplomats and global journalists, Angela said, "I'm not here as an actress tonight. I'm here as evidence, proof that words can heal if spoken with intention." Jennifer followed. "In music, we say harmony needs difference. You can't make a chord with one note." Together, they received a standing ovation that lasted longer than the speech. Moved by the response, both women launched the Bassett Hudson Foundation for Arts and Respect, funding mentorship programs for young women entering entertainment. Their slogan, "Talent opens doors. Character keeps them open." Within a month, they raised over $6 million in pledges. Sponsors included Apple, Netflix, and Oprah's own network. Schools began integrating their curriculum on ethics in performance. Other hosts began echoing the same sentiment. Jimmy Kimmel. They turned a mistake into a masterclass. Stephen Colbert. Angela Bassett just taught all of us how to apologize in HD. Even tabloids, normally allergic to grace, printed a line, "When women lead with dignity, ratings follow." Jennifer's show won Daytime Program of the Year at the next Emmy Awards. When she took the stage, she said simply, "To Angela Bassett, thank you for teaching me that vulnerability is victory." Angela, sitting in the front row, mouthed back, "Lesson received." Months later, America had calmed, but the conversation hadn't. High school debates used the incident to discuss respect culture. A think tank in Washington cited it in a report titled Public Discourse and Emotional Intelligence. And streaming numbers for both women's past film soared. But one last twist awaited, a private, unscripted reunion neither network nor PR firm could stage, a dinner conversation that would seal their legacy forever. That's the story of the final act, where two women who started as a headline ended as a blueprint. The storm had passed. Months of headlines, hashtag, and panel discussions had finally calmed into something rarer, reverence. Both women had gone back to their lives. Angela Bassett returned to film, shooting an independent drama in New Orleans. Jennifer Hudson continued hosting, though her show now felt transformed, slower, deeper, more human. The laughter still sparkled, but it carried a new weight. Every chuckle now rested on a foundation of grace. One quiet evening in late autumn, Jennifer called Angela directly. No assistants, no managers, no PR. Just a voice and a pause. "Miss Angela," she said softly, "before this year ends, I want to break bread with you. No cameras, no lights, just gratitude. Angela hesitated, not from doubt, but from thoughtfulness. Dinner, not dialogue. She finally replied, let's eat as women, not headlines. 3 days later, the two met at a small, candlelit restaurant in downtown Los Angeles. No red carpet, no paparazzi, just a hum of jazz and the clinking of glasses. They ordered roasted salmon, collard greens, and cornbread, soul food for souls that had worked overtime. Jennifer exhaled. You change how I breathe on TV. Angela smiled. You change how I believe in TV. Jennifer laughed. I didn't expect that answer. Angela sipped her tea. No one expects transformation. It walks in wearing chaos. They talked for hours about motherhood, fame, exhaustion, and what it means to carry responsibility in a world addicted to reaction. Jennifer confessed, there were nights I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing you say, intentions don't erase impact. I thought you hated me. Angela shook her head. Child, if I hated you, I wouldn't have taught you. Hate is quick. Guidance is patient. The room fell silent, except for a faint saxophone playing Summertime. Jennifer whispered, then that day it wasn't humiliation? Angela's eyes softened. No, it was an inheritance. Every generation must pass the code to the next. Ours was filmed live. A waiter approached shyly. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to say, my mama raised me watching both of you. She passed last year. But tonight, seeing you all together, it feels like closure. Both women stood and hugged him. No words. When he left, Jennifer murmured, you see what you started? Angela smiled. What we started. Respect's contagious. The healthiest virus alive. The next morning, a passerby captured a blurry photo of the two leaving the restaurant, arms linked, laughing under streetlights. No statement, no caption, just two figures glowing. That single candid image became the new symbol of the Bassett Effect 2.0. News outlets reposted it with one line, peace looks good on purpose. Within days, morning shows replayed old clips beside the new photo, calling it the quiet ending America needed. Fans flooded timelines. We watched accountability turn into alliance. That dinner looked like forgiveness itself. Schools across the country launched Respect Week, an initiative encouraging students to discuss communication with elders and mentors. At Howard University, students staged a short play titled The Auntie Lesson. In Atlanta, a church renamed its youth center the Bassett Hudson House. Corporations began referencing the moment in leadership training. A slide in a Fortune 500 presentation read, humility equals luxury ROI. Executives quoted Angela's lines in earnings meetings about brand trust. Respect as a renewable resource became corporate gospel. Jennifer's show evolved permanently. Segments like the Respect Seat gave young artists 5 minutes to honor someone who inspired them. She opened every Friday episode with the same line. Before the fun, we acknowledge the foundation. Viewers noticed. Ratings climbed another 40%. One critic wrote, it's no longer a talk show, it's therapy set to music. Jennifer herself described it best. I used to chase applause. Now I chase alignment. Angela became the unofficial mentor of Hollywood. Younger actresses began calling her Professor Bassett. She started a masterclass series, Grace Under Pressure, offering workshops on emotional intelligence in performance. At the first session, she told the packed theater, your craft is what you do. Your character is how you do it. One pays your bills. The other pays your soul. That clip alone earned 80 million views and was cited in Forbes under the leadership language of legends. 6 months later, both women received an invitation from the White House to be honored for cultural contribution through media integrity. The event was broadcast nationwide. The president introduced them saying, in a world that claps for chaos, these two chose grace, and the nation listened. Angela Bassett, in her acceptance remarks, said only, we didn't plan a movement. We simply refused to miss the moment. Jennifer followed with tears in her eyes. And when I was corrected, I chose connection. The entire chamber stood. Senators, celebrities, school children. For once, Washington was united in applause. After the ceremony, back in their limousine, Jennifer asked, "Do you think people will remember this 5 years from now?" Angela smiled. "Maybe not the clip, but they'll remember the feeling. The day of respect felt beautiful again." Jennifer turned to her. "So what's next for us?" Angela looked out at the monuments passing by. Same mission, different microphones. Keep the tone civil. Keep the truth sharp. Then she added, half joking, "And next time, no Annie Bassett." They laughed until tears ran. The driver smiled in the rearview mirror. "Ladies," he said softly, "the country needed that laughter." By year's end, academics coined a term for it, the Bassett Doctrine. It stood for 3 principles taught through that single televised encounter. 1. Grace before gossip. 2. Correction without cruelty. 3. Power with poise. Those 3 phrases appeared on classroom walls, HR handbooks, and social media bios. Netflix's documentary Respect, Rewired premiered the following spring, drawing record viewership. The closing scene showed the 2 women walking off stage after their UN speech, Angela whispering, "Respect isn't an act, it's a rhythm. Once you catch it, you never lose the beat." Fade to black. End credits rolled over the song Freedom. Jennifer's voice soaring, Angela's laughter faintly audible in the background. In 2028, a young actress accepted her first Oscar. On stage, she held back tears and said, "To Angela Bassett and Jennifer Hudson, you taught me that elegance is louder than ego. Because of you, I came humble and left whole." Angela watched from the audience. Jennifer clapped through tears. History had looped itself beautifully. And so, what began as a misunderstood joke became a syllabus for civilization. 2 women turned friction into faith, conflict into curriculum, and gave a country starved for civility something priceless. A template. In a world still learning how to listen, Angela Bassett and Jennifer Hudson reminded us that fame fades, but tone endures. "Respect," Angela once said, "isn't what you demand. It's what people feel safe giving you." That line became the closing frame of the documentary, etched in silver script as the screen faded out. The music swelled, slow, reverent, final. The credits ended not with applause, but silence, the rarest form of admiration. Fade to black. The end.